The following is a presentation of KNED Sports.
Live from the KNED studios on Electric Avenue in McAlester, Oklahoma, it's time for Running with the Herd, a weekly McAlester Athletics coaches show. Brought to you by Chick-fil-A of McAlester, Reagan Auto, and What About Bob's Restaurant.
Yes, this is episode 5 of Running with the Herd from the KNED studios, and today we feature McAlester Band. Again, welcome back. We took last week off because of Labor Day, but here at 8:43 in the morning, it is time for episode 5. Again, Running with the Herd, brought to you by What About Bob's Restaurant, Reagan Auto, and Chick-fil-A McAlester. So we welcome to the show Director of Bands for McAlester Band, Mark Price. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Brandon. Good morning, everybody.
So how are you? First off, just get that out there.
Well, it's a Monday morning. But
I feel that.
I'm okay. We're a little tired, but yeah, we're going to make it today. So
sounds good. Well, let's cut to the chase because,
okay.
I mean, just from the outside looking in, getting ready for each year has to be a serious undertaking when you look at the amount of people and equipment that go into getting this thing started. What is the process like going from year to year?
Well, it actually starts probably right after we complete a year. So when we say a year, like marching band is over at the end of October, and then the staff, we kind of decompress and have a little briefing and like kind of go over what we did well that season, but then we start looking towards the next season. And so like probably around December, Christmas time, we're starting thinking about concepts for next year's show and things like that. And then hopefully by spring break, we have a kind of a solid idea, and that way our people that we hire out to write our music and write our stuff like that, our designers, they're able to begin on that process. And then we don't really reveal the show to the students until our band banquet in May. So it builds anticipation, but we've been working on it for months. And so it's kind of a year-round process.
Now, you kind of already mentioned it, and I want to say, first off, McAlester, City of McAlester, very lucky to have the pride of McAlester and the kind of performances that they put in and year out. I want to say that to you guys, too, because it's just fantastic year after year. Now, you already mentioned it a little bit, like I was saying, getting a performance ready, getting the concepts and everything from its conception to it being put on the field. What is that process really like?
Yeah, and it's kind of a formula. So once you get the music in hand, then you got to take the music from the paper and you got to put it, to an instrument. You put it in front of the kids. We start working on it. We have our fundamentals that we do, kind of like a stretch routine you would in athletics, and kind of getting acclimated and getting our conditioning down. But once you start working on the music, and you do the same thing with marching, you start with fundamentals. You start with one step all the way until like we're performing a whole show. So it really is a process, and it's just over time. I tell the kids it's almost like we're taking one ingredient, we're making a cake, and we're going to add an ingredient every day, every week, and then eventually we have this finished product. Maybe it's a casserole or whatever, but I mean that's kind of a metaphorically speaking. But looking towards like say this week, the first football game we marched part 1 of our show, and it's 3 parts. Well, we've added since part 2, so this Friday we'll be premiering that, and so it's just a continuation all the way till the end of the season.
That is pretty cool. So what was your analysis? What was your opinion on how you guys did in the first performance a couple of weeks ago?
Well, I thought overall the kids had a really good effort and really good attitude about it. It was just a long day for us. So like that was our first Friday where we had a rehearsal in the morning. We were supposed to have a pep assembly, but then it rained us out. And it's just a lot of playing. So by the time we got to halftime, we were a little tired, at least with our instruments. And we probably, I think we'll be a little stronger this week because we've had more time to condition and had more, Fridays. We've had a couple Fridays now where we call it our chops, where we're not chopped out, where we're not just tired.
And see, this is the crazy thing to us, just the outside looking in. We would have never guessed that y'all were tired. You guys had, again, to us, a great performance.
Yeah, and it's for the freshmen, it's like getting that first one out of the way, those nerves, getting that over with, and then it's like, okay, now I know what I'm doing a little bit.
Gotcha. So what does the competition schedule kind of look like for McAlester Band when you get ready for a new season?
So we do 4 contests. And that's the hard thing about our activity is like, with athletics, you have games and, almost weekly. We have months where we're just rehearsing. And finally, at the end of September, that'll be our first contest at the last Saturday in September. So we go to UConn for that, and that's our first chance to get feedback from judges. And then we come back the next week. We'll go to Broken Arrow that first Saturday in October. And both of those are invitational-style contests, but it's still an adjudication panel that we would receive at, like, state marching competition. There's 7 judges. And so we're able to get tapes from them. They record tapes while we're marching, while we're playing. Some of them are up in the press box, some of them are on the field. So we get that feedback, and we try to make adjustments, and as we continue to clean our show. And then we go to state marching competition the week after fall break, so we kind of have a couple weeks off to just rehearse and clean and get more muscle memory in. And then we finish off our season on the 30th of October, and that's our OSSAA contest in Muskogee. So those are our 4 contests.
Now, obviously, as we've been mentioning here, it takes an entire herd, as is running with the herd, to get this thing going. So that includes raising money.
Yes.
So what are some fundraisers that you guys have throughout the year that people should look out for?
So we just completed our calendar fundraiser, and that was through our booster club. Students, of course, they had to get people to donate $1 for day 1 or $30 for day 30. We just put out our sponsorship campaign this weekend. So if if there's a local business and you're looking for a tax write-off or something like that, then there's a link on our Facebook page where you can go to fill out a form. We're looking for sponsors because it does take a lot of people. It takes a whole village to raise these kids up, but it takes a lot of money too. Our boosters, they do a really good job. They run the concession stand on Friday nights, and so all of that money that they're making there goes to the marching show on a yearly basis. So there's not a whole lot of extra money for all the operational costs, outside of the actual show itself. So we're looking for sponsors there, donors there, and that's live right now. And you can go to our website, McAllisterBands.com, and there's a donate page there, and you can find out, or you can just email me, mprice@mpsbuffs.org. And then in November, we do what we call our fan pledge, and it's kind of like a telethon, but it's online. So we do a deal where the kids come in together, and we make it a live event. And so people can call in, or they can call their contacts and have them donate right there live. And then in March, it's the first Saturday in March, we do our mattress fundraiser.
I was about to ask about that.
Yeah, and so that money also goes towards our operational costs. We just got a semi 2 years ago, and we got that paid off, so we're not worried about paying back to the school any money. So now we're looking towards trying to do some more things in the show, doing more things with the show, and getting more instruments and things like that.
Okay, so that is sending us to break 1. Again, we're here with McAlester Band, and we're going to be speaking with a couple of seniors coming up here in just a moment. Again, this is Running with the Herd, Episode 5, and that is brought to you by Reagan Auto, Chick-fil-A McAlester, and What About Bob's Restaurant.
What About Bob's Restaurant, the home of Bob's Sunrise Surprise, is located at 610 North Main in McAlester. What About Bob serves up your favorite comfort foods 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Go down and see Olivia and the gang for breakfast and lunch. What About Bob's Restaurant, open 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Check them out on their Facebook page, What About Bob's, 610 North Main in McAlester.
Looking for a trustworthy automotive shop? Come see our technicians at Reagan Auto. Our trusted technicians work hard to get your vehicle needs taken care of in a timely manner. Here at Reagan Auto, we provide oil changes, tires, alignments, along with transmissions and engines. Stop by and see us at Reagan Auto at 306 East Wyandotte in McAlester to get a quote, or simply call 918-715-3236. That's 918-715-3236.
Chick-fil-A is a proud sponsor of Running with the Herd. When it's time to feed your herd, bring them to Chick-fil-A McAlester. Voted McAllister's #1 fast food restaurant for the 2nd straight year. Whether you are dining in, coming through the drive-thru, door dashing, or letting us cater your special event, we are ready to serve you. It is always our pleasure. Chick-fil-A McAlester. Go Buffs. 8:51 in the morning here on Running with the Herd featuring McAlester Band. This is the voice of the Buffaloes, Brandon Green, bringing you Episode 5. Again, Running with the Herd, brought to you by Reagan Auto, What About Bob's Restaurant, and Chick-fil-A McAlester. We now have a couple of seniors here with McAlester Band. We have Maddie Roston and Chris Whaley with us today. So welcome to the show, guys.
Hi.
Thank you.
How are y'all doing?
Good.
I'm doing all right.
So we're going to start off with an icebreaker. I'm assuming first time on radio or maybe in front of a mic for anything right here. So let's pull them just a little bit closer, just because it needs to pick up a little bit more, less echo in here. And we'll start off with an icebreaker. What is your favorite genre of music, and do you have a current favorite artist or song?
I don't really have a favorite genre. It just depends on the day. And I really like Bruno Mars.
Bruno Mars is a good pick.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with her. I don't have a specific genre that I go for. It's just whatever music sounds good to me.
I'm the same way. So that's the way I describe that, as a food court of music. If you ever walked into a food court at a mall, you can kind of pick the kind of food that you want, and that's the way I look at it. I don't care if I don't typically like the artist, but if they have a good song, I'm still going to pick that. I'm still going to like the song. I don't care. I'm going to let something slip real quick. Because I'm also a midday show host over here on K101. I'm not a very big fan of Florida Georgia Line. There's some music I don't like over there, but if there's one song that kind of hits, I might play it every once in a while. So with y'all in your senior years, I think a lot of people would find it interesting to know how you guys got into band.
I started band in 6th grade at Frink, and I started out playing the clarinet. And originally, I only did band because I didn't want to do art, because that involved work, and I didn't want to do any work. But coming into like high school and stuff and starting marching band, it really created that love for band for me, and it created like a family that's not blood but still as inviting. So yeah.
I started in 6th grade at Parker, and I just kind of went through it, started on the clarinet, and I was going through it. My freshman year, I was interested in learning the saxophone, and so I started getting into that a bit. And my sophomore year, I really felt a love for music, and so that's where I started really delving deeper into my musical career.
I want to go back to Maddie real quick. You said you went to Frank Chambers. Mm-hmm. Kind of the same way here. So I went to Frank Chambers, and there's, as you know, art or band is pretty much what you had to pick.
Yeah.
I'm colorblind. Not a joke. I'm colorblind. So I picked band, and for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade back in the day, when I was in 6th grade, it was who was the most behaved. Got to be the drummer. So I was like, that's not me. But somehow I was able to charm my way into it, and I was snare drum for 3 years over at Frank Chambers. So fun fact about me. Anyway, who have been some people that you guys have looked up to help you get to where you are today?
Definitely my band directors. Overall, Mr. Price, Mrs. Lopez, Mr. Adams. They really created that like role model for me. They're like my second parents, so I really look up to them.
Yeah, the directors are amazing at what they do, and so I can't find really a better role model than them. And then I've got some family that really enjoy music. They're good to hang around.
So what has been your favorite? Have you had a favorite moment in band up to this point?
My favorite moment in band is definitely this last banquet when I was announced to be one of the assistant drum majors this year. It was very exciting for me because I'd been wanting to be a drum major since sophomore year, and then I just didn't try out until my senior year. So now I'm a drum major. How's
that been going so far?
It is so exciting. I love being a drum major.
Cool deal.
Favorite moment? Well, I got picked for a solo this year for the marching show, and that's a blessing I couldn't have asked for. But really, I just enjoy the whole thing, all of band.
So when you're picked for a solo, does that come with any kind of like pressure? I mean, obviously it comes with a little bit of pressure. What does it feel like when you actually get to that point where it's your time to go?
It's nerve-wracking. It's in part 2 of our show, so I'm already breathing hard.
I was about to say, that's coming up.
Yeah, so it takes a lot of control to get my breathing set right and look at all the people staring at me. Mm-hmm. And then you just got to go for it.
I think you'll do a great job.
Thank you.
Any post-graduation plans so far?
Just going straight to college.
Mm-hmm. See what works best?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm looking at college, music degree. Still not entirely for sure on the details, but
that's okay. I didn't have any details set out until like May. So you guys have plenty of time. Last question's always the fun one here. If you knew how to play every instrument in the world, which is the one that you would want to play the most, and you cannot pick the one you currently play?
I would definitely pick saxophone.
Saxophone. And you were already laughing and smiling a little bit, Chris. Do you know your answer, I feel like?
Well, that would be a dream come true if I could play every instrument. I don't know. Trombone would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, those were McAlester Band seniors. We have Chris Whaley, and we also had, again, Maddie Rawson with us today. Thank you guys for jumping on the show, and good luck this Friday. Good luck the rest of the season. And I know that all of us here at McAlester Radio and the city of McAlester is going to be cheering on the pride of McAlester.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Again, that is those are some seniors here from McAlester Band here on Running with the Herd, brought to you by Chick-fil-A, McAlester, Reagan Auto, and What About Bob's Restaurant. We'll be back with Mark Price for one final segment here on KNED. Chick-fil-A is a proud sponsor of Running with the Herd. When it's time to feed your herd, bring them to Chick-fil-A McAlester. Voted McAllister's #1 fast food restaurant for the second straight year. Whether you are dining in, coming through the drive-thru, door dashing, or letting us cater your special event, we are ready to serve you. It is always our pleasure. Chick-fil-A McAlester. Go Buffs.
Looking for a trustworthy automotive shop? Come see our technicians at Reagan Auto. Our trusted technicians work hard to get your vehicle needs taken care of in a timely manner. Here at Reagan Auto, we provide oil changes, tires, alignments, along with transmissions and engines. Stop by and see us at Reagan Auto at 306 East Wyandotte in McAlester to get a quote, or simply call 918-715-3236. That's 918-715-3236.
What About Bob's Restaurant, the home of Bob's Sunrise Surprise, is located at 610 North Main in McAlester. What About Bob serves up your favorite comfort food 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Go down and see Olivia and the gang for breakfast and lunch. What About Bob's Restaurant, open 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. Check them out on their Facebook page, What About Bob's, 610 North Main in McAlester.
Welcome back to Running with the Herd, Episode 5, featuring McAlester Band and Director of Bands Mark Price. This is Brandon Green, the voice of the Buffaloes, bringing you Running with the Herd, brought to you by Chick-fil-A McAlester, Reagan Auto, and What About Bob's Restaurant. Now we get to learn a little bit more about Mark Price, okay?
All right, let's do it.
Fun questions, again, easy questions here. We asked your students, now we're going to ask you, what was your start in band, and how did you get to where you are today?
That's very interesting because when I was in 6th grade, I wanted to play percussion. All my friends played percussion, like my best friends and stuff, and I was an athlete, so we were all, in sports together, so I started on percussion. Well, I found out real quick that I wasn't the best percussionist and didn't get picked to play the snare drum and stuff like that because you got to be first chair, second chair to play, even though percussion doesn't have chairs, they stand up. So, yeah, I ended up playing, bass drum, and it just wasn't a whole lot of fun for me. So that summer, I started on trumpet and I took private lessons, and so ever since 7th grade, that's been my primary instrument is trumpet. I was last chair the first day of 7th grade, and I think that was the only day I was last chair.
Wow.
Yeah. And so that took me to college at Southeastern on a music scholarship, music ed degree, and started teaching. I've been this is year 18 for me, so I've been band directing for quite a while now. You can see the gray hairs. So.
Well, we also asked your students this question because I think it'd be pretty interesting to be able to learn what Mark Price, his favorite genre of music is, and if he has a favorite artist or song right now.
I think they know some of my favorite music because I'll get a chance to play it because we have PA systems and stuff like that. I don't know that I have a favorite genre because I have an appreciation for all styles of music. I'm not a big fan of country. I'll just put that out there, and that may be a hot topic. But
especially right here on KND, man.
I'm sorry,
classic country.
I grew up listening to grunge, on the Edge.
Okay,
out of Dallas, and so a big fan of Nirvana and Foo Fighters and all that genre of music. But here lately, I find myself listening to Dua Lipa a lot, Lady Gaga, that style of music.
Okay. Well, that's the great thing about McAlester Radio Subtle Plug here. We have all kinds of music here.
Yeah.
If you got Cool 96 for that, classic country's here. Today's country's K101. We've got rock over there for your Foo Fighters and Nirvana. Yeah. So,
can I say one more thing about radio?
Go for it, yeah.
So, I'm a big Texas Rangers fan. So, growing up, it was the only way I could get Ranger games was on the radio, so I have a real appreciation for radio because I've been listening to radio for a long time, and still even as an adult, I prefer to listen to Eric and Matt on the radio for the Ranger game versus seeing it and hearing those guys on TV.
Now, fun fact, I'm a big Sooners fan, and so I love listening to Toby Rowland sometimes more than I like watching it. And also, I got to meet Eric and Matt over in the Rangers booth. So one of my favorite moments of my career is when I was getting started for at the time I was over at the Mix over at Eastern, and we were able to go to this Texas Rangers game and go into the booth while they were calling the game.
Oh, cool.
And so between Eric and Matt, you have an open headset, and I have Eric look back at me, grabs the headset, he says, "Come on." I said,
Wow.
"Oh," I said, "Okay." So I didn't say a word. I put it on. I had the headset ready. I guess I could have said something. I don't know if they had it turned up or not. But I just kind of sat there, and I just appreciated everything. So I got to see everything from the Rangers booth. That was while they were still over at Globe Life Park.
Yeah.
So now Choctaw Stadium.
Yes.
So pretty interesting there. What was your favorite subject in school growing up? Can't pick band either.
Right.
So that's.
I was a real big fan of math. I mean, I was really good at math, so of course I was that was one of my favorite things. I enjoyed taking home ec my senior year and doing some cooking, putting the apron on. That was really fun. I enjoy cooking now too. And, as an adult.
I took home ec freshman year over at McAlester. I still remember making monkey bread and not burning down the building. That was a big goal of mine. What are some of your hobbies?
Well, I enjoy Ranger games. I mean, I'll have went to 11 this year as of next weekend. So, I mean, that's if I was closer to the Metroplex, I definitely, and wasn't a band director, I'd have season tickets.
Right.
But that's definitely a hobby. Spending time with the family. Right now it's a little tough, but we enjoy being in the pool. It was a little cold last night when we got into it because of this cooler weather coming in, and we enjoy traveling. We go to the mountains. We go to Colorado just about on every school break, and so we like to get out of town and visit family too. But yeah,
good deal. And I'm going to, again, side note real quick.
fine.
I'm a big Yankees fan.
Okay.
I was born and raised a Yankees fan, so I was able to. You guys handed it to us this past week, but I can say I went to the one game where we won. So that's the first time I've ever seen the New York Yankees with my own eyes beat the Texas Rangers in Texas.
Oh, that's cool.
I never get to see them beat Texas, so for once I got to see a win. And last one, since we're here during breakfast time, what is your favorite breakfast food? Not a location, but a food in general.
Yeah, I'm just a simple guy. I like bacon, eggs, and maybe a biscuit. Just something simple.
See, you can put all those together, and then you have a bacon, egg, and
maybe throw some cheese on there.
There
too.
you go, bacon, egg, and cheese breakfast sandwich.
I like a little hot sauce too because I like spicy food. So.
All right, well, Mr. Price, thank you for joining us today. Anything else you'd like to add before we wrap it up?
I don't think so. Just I really appreciate the opportunity. I've been band directing here for 15 years, and this is the first time I've gotten a call or an email, so I appreciate it. I feel privileged that I was asked to be here, and thank you so much.
Absolutely. We want to make sure that we can highlight you guys. We don't always get the chance to do so ourselves, but when the opportunity arose, we knew we had to get McAlester Band on the radio and wanted to do it early, especially before you guys got into the brunt of your schedule. So thank you guys for stopping by. And
thank you.
Like I said, we will make sure that we get the interview up on YouTube later on today, but if you wanted to listen to it live, or I guess live, obviously you're listening to it now, but also that we have Spotify. It's the at Buff Sports Radio podcast on Spotify. That will be up by tomorrow at the latest, and also on our website, McAllisterRadio.com. So we'll make sure that it's up on as many platforms as possible by the end of the day. So again, thank you guys for stopping by.
Thank you.
That's McAlester Band here on Running with the Herd, episode 5. It has been brought to you by Chick-fil-A McAlester, Reagan Auto, and What About Bob's Restaurant.
This has been a presentation of KNED Sports. Running with the Herd has been brought to you by Chick-fil-A of McAlester, Reagan Auto, and What About Bob's Restaurant. Now we return you to your regularly scheduled programming.